Hey there, GoCo. On episode 391, Zack, Alyssa, and I answer questions from all of you. As usual, most of them are video game related. In news, E3 was canceled for the second time this year, and new games discussed include a Memoir Blue, Vengeful Hearts, Agent Intercept, and Bush Hockey League. This is the Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 391 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friends, Mr. Zack Parkerson. What's up?
You know what? I'll tell you what's up. I woke up today and there's new Tomb Raider confirmed, so I'm feeling pretty good.
How did I miss that news?
Man.
Apparently we're going to talk about that because I did not even catch a whiff of that. It's been a busy day.
Wow.
I was this guy today. I've tried to make a new thing where I don't have my phone on me all the time at work. I actually put it away and relied just on my watch. So I did not, get Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of stuff throughout the majority of today. So apparently that was a mistake.
Oh, man. Yeah, I can't believe that. I can't believe you missed that one.
I know. Also joining us, the ever lovely Miss Alyssa White. How you doing, Alyssa?
I'm okay. But I also saw the Tomb Raider tweet from Zack. That's how I found out. So Zack, right. you made my day by tweeting that.
Your local Tomb Raider correspondent here.
Breaking news. So is it a new trilogy or what's going on?
So they announced at the 25th anniversary thing last year that they wanted to unify the Tomb Raider timeline, so you could presume that this will be combining survival Lara with Explorer Lara, like the old and the reboot, kind of like take those personalities, kind of mesh them together. But the exciting point is that Crystal Dynamics is making it on Unreal Engine 5.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice because IDOT's Montreal, Shadow of the Tomb Raider has its ups and downs, but it had more downs than the Crystal Dynamics games, I would say. So it's nice to see Crystal Dynamics back on the project. And between Tomb Raider and Perfect Dark, pour one out for all 5 of the people still playing Avengers, because I don't think that game's going to get taken care of very well anymore.
Probably not. Yeah. Well, interesting. That's good news. I'm always down for more Tomb Raider.
I'm excited for, as much as I love the gritty, Tomb Raider survival trilogy, I am kind of excited to, if a game that polished and well made, but you have the ridiculous, whimsy of the supernatural PS1 games, I think that could be a fun little combination.
Yeah. I'm down. Definitely excited. Well, let's move on and talk about the games that we've been catching up on this week. Alyssa, you've been gone a couple weeks. What have you been playing?
I've mostly been playing Horizon Forbidden West outside of review games, and I'm far behind everyone else. I know this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm loving it. I loved Zero Dawn, and I'm loving this game as well. I'm 22 and a half hours in. I looked, just so I could say that.
Yeah.
But I just got to the base. That's all I'm going to say in case someone's listening and they haven't got to anything past that yet.
Okay, so you're starting your 3 tasks.
I started one task, completed it, then got access.
Okay. You've got so much good stuff coming.
I'm excited, yeah.
There's a fun surprise that I can't wait for you to see. I'm really excited to see it, but that game ended. That game just went in directions I was not expecting. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, like some of the side missions especially, they're just so deep, and what's going on with the different clans, it's just so interesting.
Do you agree with me that it feels like the side characters are way more interesting than Aloy herself?
Oh yeah, I do.
Isn't she kind of bland on occasion? Like she just kind of...
She does feel... Especially when you have a dialogue choice and it shows the brain, heart, or what's the in-between one they...
The fist.
The fist. Her emotions don't seem to change between those 3.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever you choose. Like, in the first game, you could kind of tell a little bit of a difference. And this one, she's just more matter of fact.
Right, yeah. I will say that I never saw the purpose in that. Like, once I finished the game, I never saw anything come to that. Like, your choices didn't really seem to affect anything.
I don't know. Did that ever matter in the first game? I can't remember.
I don't even remember was that an option in the first game?
I remember it being an option, but I don't think it had an impact on anything.
Yeah.
I think I remember the heart icon where you could get like a little flirty in the first game. Am I remember that? Like the
Maybe
Sun
I'm just
King?
thinking, yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of just the heart icon.
I don't remember being flirty either. I remember that from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I want to say.
Yeah.
Where you could romance pretty much anybody.
You banged a lot of people in Assassin's Creed Odyssey if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, and I did. It was kind of cool. But Zach, what about you? What you been catching up on?
I think I am going to play Horizon at some point. I'm too interested now, just to see what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. You're still shooting glowy bits off of mechanical dinosaurs for a good majority of the game, so that's still there. If you didn't like the combat of the first one, you're not gonna love the combat of this one. Although I think they improved on it with the elemental effects quite a bit.
What if you hated the combat and you thought the story was okay? Do you think the sequel should be recommended?
I mean, to me, and Alyssa, you back me up or not? I don't know. To me, the intrigue of the story in the first one was better, but the places that this one goes feels more fantastical.
I agree.
Yeah. If you saw some screenshots of what happens in like the final act of the game without like having the lead up to it, you would be, what the hell is this game? What is going on? It's like, it's crazy. It's pretty nuts.
Okay, so what I've been playing, I guess I'll start off with, I got the Platinum Trophy in Stranger of Paradise.
Woo-hoo.
Nice.
My voice just broke like a like a boy going through puberty.
You're really excited for that Platinum. It was good to say, if anybody out there is interested in it, it's not super hard, it's just grindy as hell. But I just threw on some podcasts and just knocked that one out. It was fun.
Does he say chaos a lot?
In the base, yeah, nonstop. It comes up all the time. I mean, if I had to guess how many times the word chaos is spoken in that game, I would say 400.
Wow.
It's
really chaos.
It's really nonstop.
And that's not like an exaggeration. That's like, you literally think that's how many times it's said.
If I had to guess, I would say between 300 and 400 times, yes.
Wow.
Because sometimes they'll even use it twice in a sentence.
How?
The chaos is funny. Chaos.
There's like a really especially funny moment, actually. I guess I'll just spoil it real quick. Where like some guy's like, it's chaos out in the streets, just like to talk about like, unruly behavior. And everybody in the room stops and turns down and they're like, chaos.
It's like a trigger
really
word.
Yeah, it really is. Oh, it's totally ridiculous. That game's worth checking out. I've been continuing to play Final Fantasy X, and I am blown away at how much I'm liking that game. I'm loving it. It is tons of fun.
Story's good?
I'm way into the story, way into the characters, the party. I like everything that's happening with Yuna and Tidus and their kind of slow brim romance, and I like that the whole world is like drenched in melancholy. I'm really digging it. It's a much sadder game than I remember from my youth. And then the sphere grid is a lot of fun to kind of mess around with, where you kind of let characters get each other's abilities and stuff. I don't know. I'm having a hell of a lot of fun with it. So if anybody wants
for a Final Fantasy game,
play a PS2 game, it's easy to just like play a little bit here and there because it's shockingly linear. It's just relentlessly linear. For all the crap Final Fantasy 13 gets about it just being a straight linear, like a corridor the whole game, like this is the same thing.
I didn't mind that in Final Fantasy 13.
I didn't either.
Nor did
Don't tell anybody.
Well, at least all of us here are safe. We all liked it.
Yeah.
I thought 13 was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the open world in 15, but that made sense for what you were going with in that game.
Yeah, definitely. And then, well, in 13, especially when you did get to an open area, it was such a nice little area for those 10 hours or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it kind of made sense with the storyline about, getting to that area.
One of my favorite battle systems was 13. I love the Paradigm system.
Yeah, Paradigm Shift. Yeah, give me some more of that.
That was really cool.
And then so I've also been playing Fortnite.
What? Oh, really?
With the no build mode.
I was just about to say, because it's no build.
Yeah, I am strictly Fortnite no build solos. That's what I've been playing.
Okay, I'm curious.
It's super fun, man.
Really?
My only issue with Fortnite, like, because I would hop in every now and again when they announce some character you like, like Wonder Woman or Green Arrow or whatever, and it always sucked because I hate the building stuff because it's lame. Like, it just I'm sure people must obviously love it, right? Fortnite's the biggest game in the world, but for me, it was just kind of annoying to be in this gunfight, and all of a sudden a kid builds an entire 5-story cabin, in the middle of your firefight. It's just ridiculous. And then if you ever made it to the last 5 players or whatever, it's just all of you building. They're just building parking garages around each other and trying to. It's just not. It's not a skill set I care to learn, I guess I would say.
Sure. But
now with all that removed, it's just the arcade shooting and stuff. It is. It's a really good game, man. It's a lot of fun.
Have you had a victory royale?
No, I've gotten second place a bunch of times, but it's hard. It's hard in solos because you only get the one life. If you have a team or you're doing duos or squads or whatever, you get down, you get picked back up. But when you're playing solo, it's all or nothing every time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's super cool. I was exploring the Daily Bugle and I found J. Jonah Jameson's office, which is just ridiculous.
Fortnite.
I saw Master Chief on my PlayStation. That was pretty weird.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I think there's still like a mental hurdle for me about like watching Superman and Spider-Man fire assault rifles.
Yeah.
It's just like a little jarring to me. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah, and I could see all the insidious ways they get kids to spend money, definitely. Like now I understand why when I was at my family's Christmas party, it was all just V-Bucks with everybody 15 and under. And I get it now because they're just constantly flaunting these things in your faces. And even the pre-game lobby where everybody's just showing off emotes and skins, you're like, this is just designed exclusively so you can go like, but I want Spider-Man. Yeah. But the core gameplay is arcadey goodness.
And you're making me want to give it a try. I mean, we could go run some duos, man.
It's crossplay.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. So you can play with your comfortable Xbox controller. I can play with my comfortable PlayStation controller. Alyssa, you can join in if you want to do trios.
I've never played Fortnite. I might be terrible at it. So you guys might have to revive me a bunch of times because that's usually what happens.
You can't be any worse than me. Like, I am not good at online shooters, but...
Oh, I'm terrible. We'd have to see who's... we'd have to have a battle royale of who's the worst multiplayer player.
I think I want to get in and just say it just so that I can make my students smile and say, hey guys, I played Fortnite this weekend, and then just, lose their minds. That would be pretty fun.
There's so much happening at Fortnite. I was fishing at one point. I did a race around a dirt track.
Wait, what? During a battle royale?
Yes, and it saved, and not only that, but I had a leaderboard in the map that saved my record lap.
What? So bizarre.
All in the middle of a battle royale. Yeah, and you can just go fishing, and you can get different items and stuff that way. Or sometimes you just get fish. It's really bizarre.
I can't imagine going fishing in a battle. I would be just looking over my shoulder all the time.
I don't. It because of the cartoony atmosphere. I don't know. I don't ever really feel in particular danger. Huh. And because in the no build mode, you also have an overshield, like a Halo style rechargeable overshield, and that kind of gives you a level of comfort too.
Gotcha.
Because that'll absorb your first couple shots. I don't know. It's a lot of fun, and I assume I'm playing with a lot of people. Some of the aim that some of these people have, I'm like, are you playing? You have to be playing on a phone, and I feel kind of bad just whooping you right now.
Oh,
are you a stormtrooper?
Yeah, yes, they must be stormtrooper. It's a lot of fun though. And then the last thing I've been pulling away at is Babylon's Fall, which I know has been the laughing stock of the video game industry. It's poor reception, less than 600 concurrents on launch day or whatever. But I have found a groove with it that I am enjoying immensely.
That's interesting to me because nobody is talking positively about that game.
Yeah, well, I played the demo at first and it was okay, but then I decided to keep going because it's platinum, right? So I'll give them a little bit more of the benefit. So I kept going through the demo, and I got to the first boss fight, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun, especially with a party of I had 3 people or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I got to the second boss fight, and it was genuinely excellent.
Really?
Just really good, really well designed, a lot of fun. And I just kind of had to rewire my brain a little bit. I'm not thinking of this as a Bayonetta kind of game. It's more of a Monster Hunter. The bosses are sort of spongy, but you have to dodge them like it was Bayonetta. I don't know. It's. I'm having a lot of fun. I think it looks ugly as sin. The art style they chose, the whole oil painting aesthetic they have going on. and the cutscenes are all just cheap slideshows. So it's definitely, you can see where the budget's at. But
Right.
I don't know, man. I really want to play more of Evelyn's Fall. It's really got it sucked into me in a shocking way.
Very cool. As for me, I took the plunge because people would not stop messaging me about it, and I played Tunic on Game Pass. I am shocked by how much I'm digging this game, man. I sat and played this for about 6-8 hours on Saturday. Just
Wow.
nonstop. It's really good. CB is right. There is a charm to this, and the again, I say this as a person that hasn't played Dark Souls for more than an hour or two, but hearing you talk about Dark Souls and Bloodborne and those kinds of games, I get the appeal of things like an interconnected map and things just not being spoon-fed to you, and you kind of have to figure them out. The joy of discovery. I found I had ran past this bridge or this windmill or whatever several times, and later on in the game, I found another entrance like way far away that led to a cave, and the cave came out right by this windmill in a place that looks painfully obvious to me now that there was a secret passageway there, but I just never noticed it, and now I have this quick path to get to this other area that was just It was enlightening. It was like, okay, this is awesome. I finally get the appeal of this game. It's really cool. And I don't know if CB explained it, but you find these pages of like an instruction manual, and they're done in like.
I thought you talked about that. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you did.
I think he did, but I can't emphasize enough just how cool it is, because it really looks like an old NES. Like, remember like the Super Mario Brothers 3 manual that had like the actions of what Mario was doing with the buttons below it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that, and it's done almost in that art style, but the words are in this foreign language. Most of the words are in like this foreign language. So you almost have to not decode or decipher. There's not like a like a cipher you have to use or anything to like do it. The language means nothing to you, but you just kind of have to extrapolate what's going on based on the visuals and based on the limited information that they give you in English, and piece things together. And there are ways that you move forward in the game that you have to go look at this instruction manual to be able to get clues from in order to progress. It's really good.
So instruction manuals in the real world have become so outdated that they're now relics in video games.
Right. It's good. The charm is great. I know people compare it to Zelda because he's wearing a green tunic and he's got a sword and a shield with a cross
Tunic
on it, and it's called Tunic. Yeah, I mean, but I don't really. Everyone just says that this is like a Zelda-like. Everybody said the same thing about. Oh my God, what's the other game I was playing that was like a dungeon crawler on Game Pass? I am horrible.
Children of Morta?
No. It was more recent than that. It was like in the past 2 months.
Something Saves the World?
Yeah, Nobody Saves the World. Yeah, everyone was saying, oh, this is like a Zelda game, and this is a Zelda game. The puzzles in this are not Zelda-like to me. Like when I think of Zelda puzzles, I think of like moving blocks and finding... you do find keys to open up doors, but it's not like you don't go into a dungeon and then solve the dungeon and then come out of the dungeon. At least so as far as I am anyway. I've taken down 2 of the main bosses. The first one was relatively simple. The second one took me several tries, but it was the instance where I died and got sent back to a campfire, or it's not a campfire, it's like a shrine or something. And then I had to run back to where the boss was again. And, I was just like running through enemies instead of fighting them because I just wanted to get to the boss. Like that's stuff you do in Dark Souls, right?
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I totally get the appeal, and I'm digging that.
I do want to play Tunic. Yeah. I'll get to it eventually, I think.
Yeah. I feel like you would like it a lot more than because I did not like the demo. If you remember, I just really was not impressed with the demo. And maybe it's because I was expecting something different. I wasn't expecting a brain bender. I don't even know if that's a fair way to call it. It's a game that makes you think more than it makes you think in a way that is different than the way I think in a Zelda game. You know what I mean? Like,
I remember being. I like the demo, but I was definitely turned off at first that it was a Souls-like because it looks like it wants to be Zelda in every other facet.
Mm-hmm.
That it's weird that when you actually play it, it's not really. The demo I played with did not make you think of Zelda almost at all.
Same.
Other than other than the aesthetics.
And that's how I feel about this game so far as well. Again, I'm only, there's like a main hub and then 4 sections that you go to, and I've only conquered one of them, so I don't know if I beat the other 3. If then I go to the end. I don't know how large this game is, but as far as I am, that's how I'm feeling as well too. So, and then do you remember back on Black Friday this past Thanksgiving, I bought a Backbone controller and I never used it until this week. So I finally set up the Backbone just to try that out. And number one, it's shockingly easy to set up for smart people. It took me a couple minutes to realize that I had to take the case off of my phone for it to be able to fit in there. And I'm like, why is it not connecting? What's going on? What's the problem? But once you get in there, it's shockingly easy. You just hit a button and you have to download an app, the Backbone app, and they actually give you a bunch of free games. They give you a year of Game Pass. So in theory, you don't even need to own an Xbox to play Xbox games. If you have a cell phone and you have a $100 Backbone controller, you get a year of Game Pass. It's brilliant marketing, because if you like it, you're going to want to get it more. And if you don't have an Xbox, you're probably going to buy an Xbox. So anyway, in terms of usage, it worked. There was a little bit of latency at the beginning, and but then it caught up or something, and then it was just flawless. Worked really, really well. I took it upstairs, which is the reason that I bought it. I took it upstairs to sit on the couch, and I think I was too far away from my Wi-Fi. I was getting some lag there, so I've got to really find a really good spot to play it. And it said that my connection isn't strong enough to play it outside of Wi-Fi, or my cell phone signal wasn't strong enough. So baby steps, but just the fact I actually showed my wife. I was like, hey, look at this. I showed her my phone in the controller and said, that's my Xbox. I'm playing my Xbox right here on the couch. And she was like, cool.
That sounds right.
So, yeah, pretty much. Outside of that, my Friday night online gameplay, I sat with Joel and we finished Gears of War Ultimate. Let me tell you.
Wait, just Joel?
Well, it's only 2-player.
Oh,
the first one is only 2-player, and Gears 2 is also only 2-player. It doesn't get to 4-player co-op.
My mistake.
Until Gears 3. But the other 2 weren't available this week. One of them was spending time with family, and one was playing pickleball. I'm not making that up. It's a real game. I didn't know what it was.
No, it's very.
I've heard of
popular.
it.
It's very popular in Kansas City.
Is it? Okay. So let me tell you though, Joel is officially obsessed with Gears. He loves this game so much.
Yeah.
And I was so worried about going into 2 with him, because we played Gears of War Ultimate, which is obviously up-resed and highly polished, and so then going to 2, which is now an Xbox 360 game, I was worried that it wasn't going to look as good. And you can definitely tell that it was a 2 generation ago game, but that opening sequence still just really, really sells. He's been texting me throughout the week, hey, you got time to play some Gears 2 tonight? I'm like, can't, man, I got to record.
Hey, man, it's like you're 10 years ago again.
I know. It's kind of great. I'm actually looking forward to going through all of them again, because I haven't played 2 since launch. We actually started 2, just got through the first, once you get through that opening intro area, and just decided to take a break. But I haven't played 2 since launch. I haven't played 3 since launch, because I focus. That's the weird game where I played the campaign quickly, and then I played multiplayer, and that's all I did. Gears is the only series where all I wanted to do was play multiplayer. So that's fun. And then the last thing, I just have to kind of brag for a little bit, because I finally, after 30 years, was able to beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts on Super Nintendo, which, if you've never played that game, is a notoriously difficult game. And I have tried for years and years and years and just never been able to do it. And I finally did it this week, which felt really good, man. That felt awesome. Are you familiar with Super Ghouls and Ghosts at all?
I've heard of it. I've never played it or anything of that nature.
Arthur, right? The main character is heart boxers like Maximo.
Yes, exactly.
And then when you beat it, you have to beat it again.
That's the thing, is you beat the game and then you find out, Well, you have to actually, in order to beat the boss, you have to have this special weapon that sucks, by the way. This is the only weapon that'll actually defeat the boss, so you have to start all over at the beginning of the entire game again, play through the entire thing, and collect this weapon along the way, but you have to strategically get it towards the end of the game when it, when it doesn't suck as much. And you beat the boss, you beat the second form, and then there's a third form as well. And that third form is actually easier than the second form, which is kind of crazy. But I finally did it. I got that feather in my cap, and I was really proud of myself.
How long is one playthrough of Super Ghouls and Ghosts?
I mean, you can play through the entire game in like 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that, if you know what you're doing. I mean, this is a 2 hits and you're dead situation. You know what I mean? Lots of continues, lots of trial and error, which it's shocking that I enjoy that, because that doesn't sound like me at all, does it? I just want to go through and play the game. But yeah, very proud of myself for that one. So I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit. That game is finally conquered, and I will probably never, ever play it again now.
See, now you're all ready for Elden Ring.
Yeah, somebody said that on Facebook, actually. They're like, great, now you beat that one. If you can beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts, you can definitely play Elden Ring. And I was like, I don't know if that's a
definitely true. I guess 2D versus 3D skill set, but yeah, you're ready now, I think.
Okay. All right. Guess I'll have to start that up again. All right. Well, let's go ahead now and jump into the week's news. Okay, first off, Microsoft Game Pass is getting a family plan. Bandai Namco approached Brandon Sanderson about a possible collaboration with From Software. Also, E3 is officially canceled again. And lastly, Monkey Island is back. So lots of interesting things. I know one I want to talk about for sure, but Alyssa, you've been gone the longest. Which story would you like to talk about?
Just talking about E3 being officially canceled both physically and digitally.
Yeah.
And this is just because I got to attend the first time last year digitally, which I wish it had been physically, but, obvious reasons. It was just such a blast to be with Scott and CB and just watching these game trailers and writing up little articles about them. So to not have E3 this year feels really weird. Especially because it's been a thing ever since I was a little girl. Every year I'd look forward to E3 and what new games are announced, and it's just not happening this year.
Yeah, it's super sad. If you remember, do you remember, Alyssa, when we were waiting for you to pop online because we were doing a digital conference call, and she came on and CB and I had Fallout masks.
I did.
We were wearing Fallout masks, and then we waited until we heard you say something, and then we just both turned and looked at you at the camera at the same. That was fun. But yeah, the digital wasn't the best experience, although I still felt I got to rub shoulders with developers, not physically, but digitally, more than I did in person. Because you don't have quite the same limited access that you do. So that was kind of nice, but I am going to miss going to E3. It's been what, 3 years now, Zach? Since we went?
2019, I guess. Yeah, back when Lego Star Wars was there,
which released today of all things. Yeah, and I think it's interesting though that they even though they confirmed the cancellation, they promised that there will be an in-person event in 2023. Are you guys optimistic about that, or do you think that's just blowing smoke at this point?
Yeah, I think that's blowing smoke, man. As much as I love E3. Don't get me wrong. But when you told me that it was digitally canceled in text, I was like, yeah, wasn't it already? I forgot entirely that this was a thing that they were going to try to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think E3 kind of shot itself in the foot. The ESA, I know, making a lot of decisions that made the publishers pull out of them, and I think, yeah, I am not optimistic at all for next year because if you are a publisher like EA or what have you, I guess EA wasn't on the campus, but why would you go now? E3 kind of proved
that you don't need it.
That you don't need it, which sucks because I love, that there's just a week where it's just a nonstop game news and all these different publishers and I actually think it's kind of easier. It's almost easier for little games to get through during E3 because the interest level is so high across video games as a medium that these smaller titles can kind of sneak through. You're like, oh wait, what's this? Like when you're scanning through preview articles and stuff. So I think without that, it actually makes smaller games a little harder to stick out. I guess sure they can do their own event, but why would somebody tune into something they haven't heard about? You know what I mean? So I think
right.
E3 served a good purpose there. Like Lemnis Gate would have. I don't think you would have never clicked on Lemnis Gate if it weren't for us being at E3.
Right.
So anyway, I think the loss of E3 is sad, but I really feel like this is the final nail in the coffin of E3 because if I were Sony, or like, what is my justification to come back? As the pandemic proved that I had to work around your absence, and now I know I succeed without you. You know what I mean?
I mean, at this point, it's just a buzzword, right? Because E3 is almost like a season at this point, and so you've got the attention of so many gamers at one point. But I feel like gamers' attention is available readily throughout the year. I mean, you don't need to focus it on that 1 week. I personally, I'm like you. I like having that 1 week where it's nothing but games. But listening to our community, they were saying in Discord today that they actually are okay with it. They would rather have it, or the ones I was talking to or reading about, would rather have stuff spread out throughout the year as opposed to having it condensed in 1 week and trying to keep up at the same time.
Now, I like it for me because I don't follow sports. So like for me, that is the Super Bowl or World Series or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
For me too.
At least we got to go to one press conference, man. Right?
That's true.
We can say one, and there's even video of my goofy self staring at the camera.
We could see Phil. We could see Phil for real.
I will never convince anybody. I really was not trying to stare at the camera. I was trying to read the teleprompter. I was trying to take notes. That's all I was trying to do.
Ego hog.
Yeah. You know how it goes. Zach, what about you? Anything stand out?
Oh, I don't know. No. Monkey Island, that's exciting.
That's the one I was going to mention.
Yeah, I think it's especially cool that it was being worked on in secret. I like the first Monkey Island a lot. I've never actually dived into the sequels. But I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's nice that Ron Gilbert's doing something again. Mm-hmm. And I think it's especially cool that Dominic Armato is returning as Guybrush. But it says it's coming out this year, and I think I would be surprised to see that. I don't know why. You don't need to rush out Monkey Island this year, I don't think.
I would be all over that. I just hope it comes to consoles or at least Mac, because I have to play that. I have such a love affair with the Monkey Island games. It's the first PC game I ever played. It's the first Atari Nintendo game I ever played, and I was so obsessed with it. I think I've told you this before. I actually tried to write a novelization of the story.
Yeah, you did.
From there, man, what I would give to have that file of when I wrote that, I would just be really, really cool. And the fact that they're going, the thing about that was cool to me was just, it was the first time I had seen like a humor in a game, and it wasn't just slapstick humor. It was writing. It was very funny to read. The whole insult sword fighting and just like the one-liner that were so, even though you were just reading text at the time until they came out the remastered versions on Xbox and PlayStation. I think it was on PlayStation. There was no voice, so you kind of had to hear the voices in your head, and you could even read them as deadpan just because the way that they blipped up the text very quickly. Like it would be there and go away, like almost as if you just said it very fast. I don't know. I am all over it.
I played it on Xbox. I always thought that there was voice acting. This is news to me.
The original was just text.
That's insane.
I've never played Monkey Island, so I'm just over here like, I don't know.
It's a point and click adventure, so it's not, you're not really like, there's no twitch reflex type stuff. It's all about dialogue choices and finding the correct items to combine with each other, or finding a certain button you have to press on the screen, and it's interactive storytelling, and it's just, I have such fond memories of it, and it just makes me infinitely happy that there's another one. Like in the trailer that was put on Twitter, because I think Devolver Digital is involved. It's like a collaboration with them and Ron Gilbert's company.
Does it say like who has the rights? Wouldn't Lucasfilm Limited have the rights?
They're in it's a collaboration between them as well. Lucasfilm, Devolver, and Ron Gilbert's company. They're all three collaborating on this. So, but I mean, when they played the trailer and like I heard the music that I hadn't heard in years, like that Monkey Island music is just so iconic to me, and I'm ready to dive back in. So, yeah. It's going to be called Return to Monkey Island because there's The Secret of Monkey Island, then there was The Secret of Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. Then there was Escape from Monkey Island.
Was that the PS2 one?
It was on PS2, yes.
Okay.
I sent my copy to Justin McElroy years ago. He was talking on a podcast and talking about how he liked that game, and I messaged him and said, hey, I have a copy. I'm not playing it anymore. You want it? And I mailed it to him. He actually opened it like on an episode of his podcast. It was like my cool moment back in my 20s.
Did he give you a shout out?
He did.
Yeah, I don't like Justin McElroy.
No.
No. Well, he famously didn't, because he used to write for 1UP. And he got to the part of Nier where you had to catch a fish, and he couldn't catch a fish, and he said the game was unfinishable and refused to review it.
Oh, wow.
Which is
fish. Where'd you have to catch a fish?
It's early in the game. It's to help Yona get through a coughing spell. But the fishing is mandatory. But it's just it's hard to that's not doing your job very well, no matter what game it is.
Gotcha. Well, I guess that leaves me with a boy. Let's talk about Microsoft Game Pass getting a family plan, which I think is actually really good news. I mean, I know we're all fans of Microsoft here, but this service just gets better and better and better. Now they're going to allow you to have multiple accounts to one subscription, up to 5 players per subscription service, but they have not given any word on pricing on it. I just think that's really cool that that's a thing. So, you can actually do a family plan as opposed to, game sharing like some of us do.
Well, because there is a weird Game Pass sharing thing that you can do that they allow, but it restricts some of the features you can use. Like I can't. So I'm borrowing with somebody else, but I can't use like xCloud or streaming because I don't have my own Game Pass account.
Right.
But I can still play anything on the service, but I can't. Like if there's a Series X or S exclusive game like the Medium, I couldn't stream it to the base Xbox. It's just kind of an interesting, weird thing they have. So this will probably, I guess, open up that a little bit more.
Right. I mean, we're doing that now with the Switch, the online Switch Pass.
Oh yeah.
We've got 8 of us on a plan so that we each pay $10 a year.
I forgot. I've used it 0 times, so that's probably why I don't really remember it.
Oh, really? I've used it. I've used it a lot. Well, I mean, that's how I played Super Ghouls and Ghosts. And
oh, that's right. Never scratched that. I did. I played Star Fox 64, but because the controls were a complete disaster,
have they fixed it yet?
I don't think so. Nintendo doesn't really strike me as the company to fix things.
Yeah. How do you mess up the controls of Star Fox 64?
You agreed. You agreed with me.
I know, but it was kind of crazy.
Well, it's bizarre that you can't remap an emulator's controls, period, but it's especially bizarre that you would have like the one barrel roll is on a trigger, but the other barrel roll is like a stick or whatever. Like it's just really dumb controls.
I agree. And again, apparently. It's been a while. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on before we get to the newer games that we've been playing. I want to remind everybody of our Patreon. You can sign up if you'd like to help us out at patreon.com/thegocast. We've got some bonus episodes for you at the $3 tier and the $5 tier. 1 episode and 2 episode respectively. Some new episodes that we've got available for you. Our Retro Outsider episode on Star Fox Adventures on GameCube, which Zack is very fond of that game. We also have our spoiler cast for the Uncharted film. And more recently, our Desert Island Games episode, where we invited Mark Szymanski, one of our patrons, to come talk about his top 5 favorite games of all time and top 5 Desert Island games. And boy, did he have an eclectic list. That was a really fun episode. Also upcoming, Zack and I are going to be doing a Break the Seal episode on Max Payne 1 and 2, because I finished Max Payne 1 and I need to finish up Max Payne 2. And then also, Zack and I sat down with a YouTuber from Australia that goes by the name of Snugboy. That one is going to be available in the very near future, so stay tuned for that. Spoiler alert, it was kind of hilarious.
It was a lot. It was a ton of fun.
It was a ton of fun. We looked up and it was an hour. And it was like, that did not expect that. It was a really good time. So if those episodes or any others, all of our past content is available to you if you sign up right now at patreon.com/thegocast, and we really would appreciate the help. Now let's jump into the newer games we've been playing. All right, Zach, I need another break because I got to catch up again. So what's coming out?
Well, it depends on your perspective whether or not you'll have a break. But Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga comes out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and PC April 5th. I assume that's going to be a monster hit because it's Lego and Star Wars, and it's been a long time since the Lego game. 4 years, I think.
It's all relative because you got the pandemic in the middle of there, so
still,
it feels a lot longer.
Then MLB The Show 22 comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and Switch April 5th. It'll be on Game Pass yet again, which I assume is just Microsoft's middle finger to PlayStation every year now.
Yeah, pretty much.
we have your first party game on our Game Pass. Outbreak Contagious Memories, a horror game coming to Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC April 6th. Chinatown Detective Agency is a sprite noir game coming to Xbox One, Switch, and PC April 7th. This is kind of an exciting one because a PS1 JRPG Chrono Cross is re-released with Chrono Cross: The Radical Dreamers Edition coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC April 7th. That's cool because it's also got a Satellaview game that was originally exclusive to Japan that's coming over in English, so that's pretty cool. We talked earlier about Avengers being a dead live service game, and here comes Godfall Ultimate Edition. It's Godfall with all of its DLC coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC April 7th. That's the first time it's on Xbox, right? Because it was a 2-year exclusive to PlayStation.
Correct.
So there you go. I can't imagine anybody cares about that. Sherlock Holmes: The Devil's Daughter is a PS3 and 360 Sherlock Holmes game that's getting ported to Switch April 7th. Slipstream, which just straight up looks like Outrun, the old arcade racer, coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and Switch April 7th. The House of the Dead remake, which you think would have a little bit more fanfare, but it seems to have absolutely none, is coming to Switch April 7th. And then The Last Friend, who is a little doggy, is coming to Switch April 7th.
We met the developer of that game at E3. Do you remember? Alessandro? He was actually over right near the Lemnis Gate booth in the indie area.
This is probably why it sounded familiar to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I am actually purchasing Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. I'm too curious, and it just looks too much fun. And it seems like a game that I could just pick away at every now and then, like play through, one of the movies.
Right.
Yeah.
That's probably a smart way to approach it.
Mm-hmm.
Stretch it out.
That one is definitely gonna get played, and I'm also gonna play MLB The Show 22. That is my annual. I used to rent it from Redbox back when you could rent games from Redbox and play it over the weekend with some friends that never play games except for this game, and then return it and never go back to it. And it's kind of that game now, except I just download it on Game Pass, and we'll play that again. Although my online buddy Joel now is a massive baseball fan, and he and I are both Brewers fans. So I'm sure he'll convince me to play some online with him.
Who will get to decide? Who gets to play as the Brewers, though?
I mean, you could both play the Brewers. You just have one play the away uniforms and one play the.
That sounds dumb.
Or I'll, whatever. I'll be the Cubs. I don't care.
The Cubs.
I just like to play the game. It's just, and it gets more and more realistic every year. I dig it. So those are the two that are on my list. Although I will say that House of the Dead remake really intrigues me. Unfortunately, that it's not getting, like you said, it's not getting any fanfare. But when I was a kid, anytime those were in the arcade, I was playing those games.
It's fun because the Switch Joy-Cons have the gyroscope and stuff, so it seems like a match made in heaven. It's just weird that the publisher doesn't seem to care.
You actually do play with the Joy-Cons? I thought it was like a reticle-based game.
Oh, I guess I don't know for certain. It would just seem common sense to me that you could aim with the Joy-Con.
I did not see any gameplay of that in the trailer, but I could be mistaken, so don't quote me on it. But
okay,
yeah.
If not, then that's a huge miss. Because why else would it only be on Switch?
That's a good point. I mean, it's not like you could do light gun. Yeah, because you can't do light gun games on anything on like flat screen TVs anymore, right?
Yeah, but I feel like you need the Joy-Cons sensitive motion controls.
Who knows? Wasn't that a Sega game too?
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Sega and Nintendo, they're buds.
Mm-hmm. Apparently. What about you, Alyssa? Any of these excite you?
I'll definitely play Lego Star Wars at some point.
Yes.
Sean already bought it, so I've got access to it.
Nice.
And I love Star Wars and Lego games, so it's a win-win. And just watching the trailer, it looks beautiful. The jokes just land. And I'm just excited to see what they do with all 9 of these movies in Lego form. I also want to see Jar Jar Binks in Lego form for some odd reason.
That's a good point. Zack, what about you? I assume Chrono Cross.
A Twitter thing of Rose from episode 8 and 9 tasing Jar Jar Binks, and I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, Lego Star Wars, I assume I'll play at some point in my life. I'm not really rushing to play it, as it were. Kind of bummed out about Star Wars right now, because I feel like all of Star Wars TV has, to me, just almost flat out sucked. So I'm kind of down on my emotional connection to Star Wars right now.
What about Obi-Wan? Not excited about that? I'm
like cautious about it. Mm-hmm. Because Boba Fett should have been the show to seal the deal for me, because I love he's my favorite Star Wars character. It's a no-brainer. But then I also thought The Mandalorian was and I thought The Mandalorian season 2 was a dumpster fire of television. So I'm not feeling hot about Star Wars right now outside of the novels, but I'm sure I'll get there eventually. So yeah, from this list, I would definitely play Chrono Cross. It is a piece of history that I missed out on, so I would really love to jump in there and see all the connections to Chrono Trigger and stuff. And I'm kind of fascinated by this Radical Dreamers thing, because it's like a prequel to Chrono Cross. So they made it like 4 years before it, and they didn't know it would be a prequel. I don't know. It's very interesting, and Chrono Trigger. It's weird that Chrono Trigger isn't playable on these consoles, but Chrono Cross is. But
yeah, I would love to play Chrono Trigger. Never played it, and I want to play it, so I can play Chrono Cross.
Oh, it's very good.
I don't think you need to, do you? Isn't it? Because it doesn't take place before, so you're not.
I think Cross takes place quite a bit after.
Oh, my bad. But doesn't I know at least one character shows up in Chrono Cross, at least as a cameo.
I don't know who, but
well, I don't want to.
I know there are. I know it takes place after, because I know what happens to one of the party members of Trigger.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
They spoiled for me eons ago. But the point is, they are not connected to the degree where you would need to play Trigger first. But I would still probably play Trigger first.
Gotcha.
I'm just OCD enough I'd have to do that.
Yeah, it's just... why would you, Especially when Chrono Trigger is considered one of the greatest games ever made.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
There you go.
But speaking of games you have been getting into, Alyssa, you've been playing a Memoir Blue over on Xbox. Your review was glowing for this one.
I did really enjoy it. I played it in one sitting, which is easy. The game lasts a maximum of an hour. It's not really a game per se. It's more of an experience. It's a story, and there's no dialogue, so everything you're seeing visually conveys the story, and it does it so well. But it's about this woman who, she has just won a gold medal for swimming in an event, but she thinks back to when she discovered her love of swimming and what happened and where she got to that point and how she's neglecting her mother. And you see her past where she's with her mother, her mom takes her to the aquarium and all these different aquatic places, and they're going on the train, and she's having fun, but she doesn't realize her mom is taking her away from a dangerous situation. And you just see how the mother's love influenced her path in life, and how now she's realizing how her mother helped her along the way. And it's just a really beautiful story. The only gameplay are some very gentle environmental puzzles. You just click on different items until something happens. It's not difficult at all. It really just is trying to convey the story. And I can see why some people wouldn't like that if you're looking for an actual game, but if you're looking for an experience that's really going to touch you emotionally, and Memoir Blue is beautiful. It's on Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, you can play it. And it's
really?
just...
Okay.
And also gorgeous.
I mean, it sounds like art house cinema so far.
It is published by Annapurna Interactive. Oh. So if you've played some of their games, you're going to get that same vibe here.
I think the last game I played of theirs was one of the worst games I ever played. So I hope this is a little better than 12 minutes.
Oh, nothing like 12 minutes. I can assure you of that.
Well, that's good.
Speaking of, go listen to our spoiler cast of that game. You will, if you'd like to hear lots of cursing. That was a very we were very vehement about that game for sure. Man, what a bizarre game. You mentioned, if I'm remembering correctly, were there some some warnings you had for this game?
There are some trigger warnings. Since this game does not use dialogue or even written words, it's all conveyed visually, but you do get a sense of domestic violence going on, and of the impact the trauma has on both the mother and the child. So if that's something that could affect you, you might want to steer clear of this game.
Okay, fair enough. A Memoir Blue. Is it only on Xbox? I don't even...
It's on PlayStation, Switch, and Steam, I believe, as well.
Very cool. I also want to talk to you about the other game that you've been playing. Apparently, you're the playing the new games girl this week. Vengeful Heart, which you've been playing on Switch. I have no idea what's going on in this game from the trailer. It looks pixelated, but it looks very story driven. Can you explain what this is? Because I just cannot gather what it is from the trailer. This
is strictly a visual novel, so no gameplay at all. But I am really digging it. It is a cyberpunk story. The visuals are supposed to evoke PC 98 visuals, at least the background visuals. The characters themselves look more up to date. But I'm 5 chapters in. I'm not sure how many chapters there are, but the story is very intriguing. It does get brutal, but the story centers on this woman, Josephine Lace, who works for a water company, and in this future world, it's the year 20XX, not really specified. All the different income classes are living in different parts of the city. Water is actually owned by a company, and Josephine Lace is working for the company that owns all the water in the city. And it's just about how she's trying to get water to people that can't afford to pay for the water or who have their water cut off unjustly. And it's just a really intriguing story. I've heard there are choices, but I haven't come across any yet. And I think there are romantic interests, but I don't know if it's the entire cast, if it's just going to be a couple characters, because all these characters that you come across are super likable. And I'm just really digging the story. I'm excited to see where it goes. What ending I get? I think there's 2 different endings, if I read that correctly. So hopefully I get a good one.
So
or I'll be sad.
Visual novel, is it just like you're reading text and watching animations go on the screen at the same time? You're not really interacting with anything?
Yeah, you're just reading, and there's nothing really going on in the background. You see a static background, characters, they don't move or anything. And there is no voice acting or anything at all, so you're just reading. So if you don't like visual novels, you're not going to like this.
Gotcha. I'm still intrigued by the story. That sounds
it's very good.
Cool. So that is Vengeful Heart. Again, you're playing that on Switch. Before we move on to our From the Outset In topic, I got another couple reviews for you. I sat down with Sean and Joel to talk about a couple games that you're definitely going to want to hear about, and let's listen to those right now. I'm here with 2 of our writers. First off, we've got Mr. Sean Coates. Sean, how you doing?
Doing good as always, man. How you doing?
Doing all right. And my Gears of War buddy in crime, Mr. Joel Solinsky. How's it going, man?
I am doing great, Scott. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for stopping by. You guys are here to talk about a couple games. The first one, we're going to go to Sean and talk about Agent Intercept, which comes from developer Pickpock and was provided to us by Stride PR. Sean, I'm going to be direct with you. It pained me to give you this game to review because I wanted to play it so bad. I grew up playing Spy Hunter and adored Spy Hunter, and that's what this game really, truly looks like. Please tell me it's as much fun as that is.
Well, as far as Spy Hunter, I've never played Spy Hunter, actually.
What?
But right before recording, I actually remembered I have the Midway Arcade Treasures collection on the original Xbox.
Oh, okay.
And Spy Hunter is on there, so I really before recording, I just took care of that little blind spot.
Nice.
And it's super fun, and I can definitely tell that Agent Intercept is a direct descendant of. Absolutely, it is.
Okay, cool. So tell me how this game works, because I've read that this used to be, or actually, I know it is a cell phone game because it's on Apple Arcade.
Yes, it was actually it was a launch title for Apple Arcade.
I didn't know that, and I've somehow missed this game. Back when I had Apple Arcade, I never played it. But I get a little nervous when a game starts on mobile and then comes to console. You know, what kind of content are we looking at here?
Again, before the Spy Hunter comparison, before I played that myself, I was comparing them to the driving sections of the PS1, PS2 James Bond games.
Okay, like Agent Under
Fire and Nightfire and all those games, they all had those driving sections, and it feels just like that.
Okay, those weren't bad. I like those.
No, the thing about this one is you can tell that it came from a cell phone, because a lot of the big action sequences are you're prompted like a QTE. You don't really take them down yourself. You get the 3, 2, 1, and hit the button. You know.
Oh, okay. So you're not actually like driving and firing at the same time.
You are doing that, but the big action stuff, like you got to stop the missile from launching before it destroys the world, blah blah blah. So you're driving towards it, and then suddenly that's when the screen slows down and you get the prompts like any QTE sequence.
Okay. I'm not mad about that, though. I don't hate QTEs like a lot of people do.
No, and it's not the entire game. You are controlling your vehicle. You don't really control the gas or acceleration, though. It's constantly moving, but you're controlling your boost. And you can pick up icons to replenish your boost, replenish your weapons. And each level has 5 like objectives to do, and they count as intel points. And they're things like hit 1 million points, drift a certain number of times, take down a certain number of enemies, things like that. And the intel points you get, you need a certain amount to unlock the next course, and then the next course, etc., etc. So if you don't reach enough points to unlock the next level, for example, you gotta then go back and try to do better and try to hit those other objectives that you might have missed.
Gotcha. Now, do you have to hit all 5 of them on one run, or can you get like 2 of them on one run and then go get 2 different ones in the next run?
Get the latter. You can do. You don't have to do all 5 at once unless you want to go back and want to.
Okay. Well, the appeal or draw for this, outside of the obvious Spy Hunter comparison, is the converting to different vehicles. You start with a car and you can turn into a boat and then eventually a helicopter. Mm-hmm. Does that just happen naturally in the progression of the level, or are you activating that yourself, or how does that work?
No, it's the progression of the level. It occurs in a cutscene.
All right. So are you digging this game? I guess I'm going to ask as a guy that never played Spy Hunter before until today.
No, it was a lot of fun, and yes, you should be jealous that you gave it to me instead of yourself.
Oh, man. See, I'm torn because it's $20 on Xbox, which is where I would prefer to play it. But I could get Apple Arcade for $5 and play it on my phone, and I've got a handy-dandy little backbone that I could still use a controller to do it, so I'm kind of torn.
I would say play it on Xbox, because this port does take advantage of the capabilities of the Series X. I didn't encounter a single slowdown, no frame rate issues, smooth 60 the whole way.
Well, you sold me if I wasn't sold already. It sounds like I have to play this game. But you see the comparisons to the original.
Absolutely.
Like.
Well, yeah. By actually playing Spy Hunter, I can see where it came from. But
okay, cool.
Gotta love the Bond comparison still.
Yeah, right. Well, the one thing in the original that I did not see in the trailer for Agent Intercept was getting in your car and rolling out of your car out of a semi to get onto the road, and then actually going into a semi to repair your vehicle. And
that's
like that.
not there.
That's not it.
No, that's not.
That's a bummer. No Peter Gunn theme.
Unfortunately, no. It just has some generic action spy kind of music.
Okay.
But the only thing I'm kind of disappointed in, but this is just a nitpick, was I was hoping it would be some kind of it would have some kind of a humorous tone. Like I was hoping for like a Get Smart or an Austin Powers kind of tone to it. But no, the story just plays it straight, and it's fine.
Okay. Well, Agent Intercept, like I said, sounds like a game that I will be checking out one way or another here in the near future. But
do it.
Let's go ahead and move on to Joel's game, Bush Hockey League. Joel, I'm not a big hockey guy. Being near Chicago, I'm aware of the Blackhawks, and my local team is the Rockford Ice Hogs. So I know very little, but this trailer looked like it is old school hockey, like back from the Slapshot days. Can you talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. The game is definitely set in the 70s. In fact, in the story mode, you're playing the 75-76 season. It's very old school. It looks old school. Not all the players wear helmets because up until the late 70s, not all players did wear helmets. It was still optional.
Wow.
So think about that for a minute.
Yeah, I just can't even imagine.
It looks the period. As you're going through the story mode, you can earn player cards of your players, and they're all fictional players. But it has that old school Topps look to it, like with the grainy printing on the bad graphics. It really looks like that.
Okay. I mean, as far as the gameplay, it reminds me of, I don't play a lot of hockey games, but the one that stands out, I believe, was on the Genesis. Was it NHL 94 or something like that? It looks like it plays like that a little bit.
It's very similar to that. Like there's a star under your player so you know which guy you're controlling, which to me that felt like a very NHL thing to do. It's more of an arcade brawler type feel to it. So I would say it's kind of like NBA Jam is to basketball, or like Super Mega Baseball is to a baseball. It's not a simulation, but they're very fun takes on the sport that they're representing.
That sounds like Blades of Steel to me.
It is kind of. Yep, I get that a little bit of feel of that too.
Right.
It's you can have either the stick controls, which is what NHL made popular, the shoot stick, or you can just do simple button, which is actually what I did most of the time, because, I mean, it looked old school. I wanted to play it old school, and it felt good that way.
Okay. Is there any brawling like there was in Blades of Steel, which is my go-to hockey game, by the way?
Yes. So you can actually knock players out, knock them out of the game. You can hit the refs. You can start fights with other players, and then it turns into kind of a brawling button mash fighter game, which is actually a lot of fun. And you can set your team on fire, which you knock the guys down enough, hurt the other team enough, and you get a bonus, and you hit like the X button and your team goes into the on fire status, and the puck has fire underneath it, and it felt very NBA Jam on ice at that point.
Wow, it really sounds like it, and it's not what I was expecting, because the trailer made me just think it was another hockey game. But this sounds really interesting. Are you recommending it?
I do recommend it. It has a few small issues, which, considering it's an arcade game, isn't that big of a deal. Other than icing or offsides, there's really not a whole lot of other penalties being called. The sound, though, I do want to touch on that. Like, when I first booted this up, they played the hockey song from Stompin' Tom Connors, which is an old school hockey song. And
yeah, I had never heard it. You shared the song with me when we were playing the other night, and I had never heard it.
Yeah, so I when I grew up, you would hear that in the local arenas, like when Dad would take me out to go to the hockey game or whatever. So of course that brought a smile to my face right away. But then it's pipe organs and polkas and stuff like old school hockey, what you'd hear played at the arena.
Nice.
It's really, really well done.
That sounds really cool, man. So the sound is a big selling point for you, huh?
It is. It really helps bring the whole package together for me.
And you're playing this on Switch, correct?
I am.
Now, is this a good one to play with a buddy? Because that's what made Blades of Steel fun for me when I was a kid, was playing with my brother.
Absolutely. Yep. In fact, you can break the Joy-Cons out and just play local right on the system. And the button controls work great back and forth with the two Joy-Cons. It really worked well.
Nice. Is there any online capability?
No. It's strictly local co-op, which, to me, that's fine. This is the kind of game that was really made for that.
Yeah, this is a punch your friend in the shoulder kind of game.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is Bush Hockey League. I believe that's been recently ported to Switch. I think it's been on PC or something in the past. So it's good to see that one come to Switch for sure. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, that one came from V7 Entertainment and was provided to us by Evolve PR. So shout out to those guys as well as Stride PR for hooking us up with these review copies. Sean and Joel, thank you so much for stopping by to talk about these two games. It is great to talk to you as always, and I really appreciate it.
Always happy to be here, man.
Great to be here. Thanks, Scott.
Not a problem. We'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much, Sean and Joel. Sounds really interesting. Let's go ahead and move on to remind you of our social media outlets. We've got facebook.com/groups/the GoCast if you'd like to join an awesome community. Got some new members over there, so if you get a chance, say hello to Brandon Burton, Roy Duckworth, Shell Lynn, and Perk Perkins. Also, our Discord is still up and running. You can find a link for that in the show notes for this very episode if you'd like to join the community. We'd love to have you. Lots of good conversations going on over there. Also, our website is thegamingoutsider.com. There you'll find all of our episodes and all of our written content, including written reviews for Magnum Lord, which Alyssa published, and her review of Memoir Blue is also available on there. And then Sean posted a review for Music Racer Ultimate, which he talked about on last week's episode. So you want to check that out. Again, thegamingoutsider.com. With that, we will jump into our From the Outside In topic. It's our favorite episode of the month. Each first week, we ask you, the Gaming Outsider community, for questions and topic discussions for us to answer right here. We've got some good ones this time around, so let's get right into it. I'll kick things off, then we'll go Zack and then Alyssa. First one comes from Sean McGuire. Do you feel robbed when a game you paid for comes to Game Pass a few months after you bought it? What do you guys think?
No. I think the full price tag of a game is almost like a I need it right now fee, because everything goes on sale almost immediately. You know what I mean? Like, especially, like Far Cry 6, right? It's a month later, it's already $40. So that full price tag you're paying is kind of almost like an early entry fee sort of thing is how I view it. So I don't really feel robbed about it, because I wanted to play it that badly that I needed it on day one. Like that excitement was obviously there, and it would have been hard to ignore. You know what I mean? Like to wait for a sale or a Game Pass or whatever.
Right.
So no, I don't feel robbed.
I feel. Oh, go ahead, Alyssa.
I was just going to say, I feel the same way as Zach. If I'm so excited to play a game that I need to play it on day one, I don't feel robbed paying the full price and then it coming to Game Pass however much longer afterwards, weeks, months, whatever. If I don't want to play a game on day one and it appears on Game Pass, that's great. Save money. But, I mean, if I'm dying to play it, I'll pay the price. But I don't feel robbed, no.
Yeah, I feel similar. I mean, with as many games as I play, if I'm playing a game on game one, I'm really super stoked about it, and especially if it's a game that I like, I feel really good about supporting that developer. I know that I'm kind of supporting the developer in some small way, by having my Game Pass subscription, but I feel like buying it directly from them would benefit them more. At least I would assume so. I don't understand the business model of Game Pass specifically, but it makes me feel good knowing that a developer got my money directly instead of through a middleman. So
I'll say a weird effect though is like when Halo came out. I wanted a disc because you guys know I'm a physical gamer. I'm a physical collector, but you can't justify buying a disc when it's on Game Pass.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Your only thing is like, I guess we'll just wait for sale or whatever. It's probably a smarter thing, saves money in the long run. But it's kind of weird. Like I just remembering Halo or Gears 5, particularly, where like I had the excitement for it. I'm like, can't wait to go to the store, pick it up. And it's like, well, it's on Game Pass. I'm like, I'd be kind of an idiot if I picked it up then, huh?
Yeah. Dude, remember standing in line and waiting for games like at midnight releases and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of fun.
Like being
memories.
amongst your people was just awesome.
My favorite was picking up when the Alan Wake and Red Dead Redemption midnight launch was happening, and I was the only one in the entire line who got Alan Wake.
Yeah, Mario also came out that same time too.
Yeah. But I also picked up Red Dead, but I was the only one who got Alan Wake, and it was a collector's edition, so like it was just like this one weird diehard Remedy fan, and then everybody else was like, dude, what about the Cowboy game though?
That's awesome. So thanks for the question, Sean. That's a good one. I don't feel robbed. I mean, maybe if it were a game that like just was terrible, but I would feel more robbed that I, made a purchase for a game. Like if I bought Godfall and that comes to Game Pass, yeah. I mean, I say that I haven't played the game, so I'm unfairly judging that game without playing it. But
I guess I don't feel robbed, but I do feel bad if it's a game I ended up not liking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's just kind of beating yourself up about something you couldn't have helped anyway. You didn't know it was going to be bad.
Right. Exactly.
But I do have the thought of like, I should have waited. But anyway, Calvin Meyer asks, what PC games do you wish were remade for consoles?
Boy, that's a great question. TIE Fighter.
Oh, that's a good answer.
I have never played the original TIE Fighter. Wasn't there like was X-Wing another one too? Or X-Wing versus TIE Fighter? Like those games I've never played because I never had a PC strong enough to be able to play them when I was a kid. And I just never got into PC gaming when I became an adult. And I've heard nothing but awesome things about that game, and I would love to be able to play that with the controller.
Yeah, that's a very good answer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play a lot of PC games growing up, but I did play a lot of Oregon Trail. Is 2000 or something. I can't remember the actual year it said, but even my mom would play it on our PC.
Yeah.
But just to have that on a console and to be able to name all of your members of your group after your friends and family and then have them die from dysentery or something.
Yeah.
And then trying to hunt and then accidentally shooting one of your partners.
You could do that? I don't remember being able to shoot your partners.
Well, it never showed it. It would just be like, oh no, Timmy was hit by buckshot after you'd gone hunting. And then you'd have to be like, do I go to a doctor? Do I try to bandage his wound and hope he doesn't develop sepsis?
Wow. Yeah, I remember playing Oregon Trail as a kid, and all I wanted to do was hunt, which was hilarious because I would spend all this time hunting, and I'd kill like 4 bear. It would be like 800 pounds of meat, and I could only carry 50 of it back or something like that. It was so yeah,
typical boy logic though.
Pretty much. But man, I mean, I played old school Oregon Trail from like the 80s. Man, that was.
They had that same version all up until Alyssa and I were in school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Absolutely. As for me, Fallout 1 and 2 would be the snap response answer.
That's a good answer too.
It is.
It's especially now with Xbox owning Bethesda and Phil Spencer's love of backwards compatibility, it's probably a realer shot than ever to see those on consoles. But Fallout 2 on Xbox would be killer. Absolutely killer. To your answer, Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight would be awesome to finally have on consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the other Dark Forces and Jedi Knight games were on consoles at some point. So I've played all of them.
Original PlayStation.
The Dark Forces was, yeah. But Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight was only on PC. Never came to consoles. And the big bummer is it had an expansion pack called Mysteries of the Sith, where you play as Mara Jade.
I don't know what that is.
What the hell? Mara Jade was Luke Skywalker's wife.
She was, yeah.
In the expanded universe.
Oh, that's why I don't know it. I'm like, did I miss something?
Yeah, all you had to do was read, but I could see how that might be difficult for you.
Wow. I've read a book a month for the past 9 months, dude. I want to hear about it.
You got to read the Thrawn trilogy. That's what we got to get you to read.
I'm finishing up. I got an hour left in my current book. I'm going to be looking for something else to read. So
Mara Jade, she's one of my favorite Star Wars characters. But she only existed in the expanded universe. But what is cool about that and how amazing the expanded universe back then was is that like she was popular enough like she got to star in a video game. That's crazy. So,
that's cool.
But it's only on PC.
I learned a fun fact today.
I can't believe you didn't know Luke Skywalker's married.
I had no clue.
He had a son, Ben Skywalker.
I did not know that either. Boy, they just really like that name in that universe, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. What about Han and Leia's kids? Jason and Jaina Solo, Anakin Solo.
I knew about that because I remember as a kid, my friends who read the book said, "Yeah, in the books, Han and Leia have a kid, and they've got the Force." And I had no idea. I just never read it. Sorry.
Did you like Kylo Ren?
Did I like Kylo Ren?
Yeah, as a character.
I thought he was entertaining. Yeah, I mean,
then you would love Jason Solo. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Those books are very good. I don't know why I thought for some reason you had invested in all that stuff.
No, the only Star Wars book I ever read was Shadows of the Empire.
Thank God Alyssa's here. So,
not to break your heart, but I've actually never read any Star Wars book.
Oh, I've read more Star Wars novels
and yet
than Alyssa.
She knew who Mara Jade was.
Yeah.
I do know some nuggets of information from the expanded universe, but I have not read any of the books.
Do you think Mara Jade's in Skywalker Saga? Or do you think Disney would put the kibosh in such fun?
I don't know.
I mean, there are going to be 400 characters to unlock,
so like just squeeze her in there somewhere. Because she's in the mobile game now, finally.
Oh, really?
But it took like 7 years to get her there. They had to run out of all the other characters first.
Pretty much.
Anyway, we're going off the reservation.
Definitely. Alyssa, you're up.
Paul Hine asks, why do we have such a hard time embracing TV and movie adaptations of game IPs? Is it the execution on the producer side? Example, do they know the property, true to the source material, etc.? Or is it unrealistic expectations on the side of the gaming community consumers? Much in the same way a novel's adaptation to the screen will divide a fan base due to everybody having a slightly different, sometimes wildly different take on what they have read, do we as gamers have such different emotional attachments to gaming IPs that it makes it almost impossible to implement on the screen what seems like an easy transition, both are visual mediums, from console to screen? Deeper down the rabbit hole, is it the visual storytelling that is so beloved, or is it player agency that we cling to when it comes to our favorite IPs?
Wow, what a great way to bring that question up. I mean, I know we've talked about this quite a bit, but he kind of goes into some different depths there that I really appreciate. What do you think, Zach?
Well, I don't think I can speak for Alyssa as firmly, but Scott and I think we both have we're fairly open to adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do the like crossed arm in the movie theater seat going like, oh, impress me sort of fanboy thing. I know that there's going to be difference, and I'm into that. Like I like the Uncharted movie, and it was very different. For one thing, Nathan Drake doesn't kill a single person in the whole freaking movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's wildly different than guns ablaze and shoot everybody, Nathan Drake. But for me, when I do get cautious is wondering, like, do the people involved care, or do they look down on games, right? Because like you look at what the Halo showrunner says about Halo, and it's pretty obvious he has a disdain for video games that comes out of nowhere. And it's like, why are you in charge of a Halo show then?
Yeah, how did he get hired?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, why are you in charge if you don't even like it?
Wouldn't that be part of the interview process? Like, so how do you feel about Halo? Oh, it sucks. Sign here, you're hired.
How do you feel about Halo? Oh, I refuse to look at the games. I refuse to look at them for inspiration. Why are you here? Why are we interviewing this position? It's very bizarre.
That's why I have hope for the Metal Gear Solid movie, because the director
that guy cares.
He actually like adores the games.
Right. Like the name of the boat in Kong Skull Island was Gray Fox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. That guy cares. Yeah.
In my opinion. Oh, go ahead. You're still sorry.
Or The Last of Us. Right. They're bringing on Neil Druckmann to help the transition. That's very cool. The people care. Yeah. So I definitely get cautious when it doesn't feel like the people involved give a damn. But you kind of get used to that, right? Like everything's an adaptation at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just waiting for our Marvel moment, because there were.
Is it not Sonic? It's a whole cinematic universe now.
That's true.
Wouldn't it be insane if Gamers Iron Man was Sonic the Hedgehog?
That would be kind of nutty. Because the movie is so silly, the first one, and the second one looks to be equally as silly. But yeah, you could be right. I think for me, the reason that we struggle is because we've been burned so many times.
Yeah, that's true.
For as many quality ones as we've seen, like Silent Hill and Tomb Raider, and then we've got,
Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark, or Doom was pretty bad.
Oh, Blood Rain is awful.
Blood Rain, yeah. There's way more bad ones than there are good ones, and I think the problem is, and I mean, this is going to sound kind of profound, but I actually have a real point with it, is that they're trying to make a good movie. You know what I mean? They're trying to make a film that appeals to a broad audience that does not comprise just of video game fans. And I want just one time them to have a budget for a movie that is made just for fans of the games. You know what I mean? I get tired of the argument of like, well, they gotta tweak this, and make it different from the games, and why? It's a great story, just adapt it. Like, bring it right over. I'm not saying do a shot for shot remake or anything like that, but give us just one. Can we just have one?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like the closest we've gotten to that be Detective Pikachu.
I mean, in terms of, was that an actual game?
Detective Pikachu is a DS game, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know because I never played it to know how closely it compared.
I'm just trying to. No, I'm just thinking about your question. That's all. Oh man, I just remember they made a Silent Hill 2 movie.
It was bad.
It looked pretty bad.
I don't remember that.
I watched it and it was bad. I just remember that.
I do remember that one.
Kit
the first one was good. Who?
I didn't even like the first one, to be honest.
I like the first one a lot.
I like the first one too.
It bugged me as a fan of the games that Pyramid Head was there because it makes no sense at all.
In that universe, because he's
James Monster. But it also bugs me in the games when he shows up that he's not in Silent Hill 2. So
yeah.
Did you see the artist who created Pyramid Head the other day just tweeted out, "I regret making Pyramid Head."
Really?
Yeah, because he designed him as James's monster, and then he's the mascot of the franchise now. So he hates that.
Huh.
It's just really funny.
Man, it's been a long time since I played Silent Hill 2. I don't even remember the story.
That's right. But do you think his point about visual storytelling is true, or that player agency is what clings us to these franchises?
That's a really good question because we talk all the time how you in particular believe that video games are the best medium to tell a story or to have an entertainment experience because you have that agency.
Unquestionable.
I mean, would you have liked a Gears of War movie if the games didn't exist? I mean, at the end of the day, it's still dudes shooting assault rifles with chainsaw bandits in the end of them. You know what I mean? There's some appeal to that. So was what made Gears of War so cool just that aesthetic and the visceral violence? I mean, it wasn't like grand storytelling, right?
To me, disagree. Gears 2 and 3? Oh, Gears 2 is grand storytelling.
I'm talking about the original Gears.
Yeah,
I mean, the original Gears was like, there are bad guys, we need to go kill them.
Right. We need drop bomb on bad guy.
Right, exactly. But I mean, the thing that sold Gears to so many people on the onset was the system, right? Like the active reload and the roadie run and the cover system, and you know what I mean? Gameplay is what sold that more than anything, in my opinion, at least in the first Gears of War. They amped the storytelling and stuff like that. So would you have been that into a Gears of War movie if that had come out before the games ever existed? I have a hard time believing that, because I think if a Gears of War movie were made now, we would be into it because of our familiarity with the game. You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
No, I mean, I think you're definitely onto something, right? But yeah, I think you're right, because if I watched a Gears of War movie of that sort, I'd probably be like, oh, that was cool, that chainsaw saw was pretty sick, and then I'd probably just move on with my life.
Right.
But yeah, because it was interactive and I was helping Marcus Phoenix on his journey or whatever, yeah, you do just kind of get more invested in the world that way.
Well, not only that, but, and we've mentioned this in the past too, but, movies suffer from the element of limited time. You know, when you play a video game, Gears was, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours to complete the original Gears. You know, trying to condense all of, I mean, again, that's not great storytelling, right? Let's look at Gears 2. You know, that's still got to be 8 to 12 hours of gameplay that you're narrowing down into a 2-hour window. That's not enough time to really get invested in those characters. And do you think those moments that you're thinking of from Gears, or that moment that you're thinking of from Gears 2 would have as much impact if you weren't along that ride with with those two characters along the way?
No, and I think you're making an interesting argument. I feel bad because I feel like Alyssa's not talking right now.
I'm sorry, Alyssa.
It's okay.
No, you make an interesting point, because the reason that moment is so sad and profound is because you just spent 5 hours doing the same thing those characters were. As you're not watching Marcus Phoenix go down to the Locust Tunnel. Like, he doesn't get through the Locust Tunnel if you aren't there.
Right.
So yeah, that's a compelling argument. I don't think that makes the movie versions like impossible, but yeah, I think it's still easy to turn a game story, it should be relatively easy. Turn a game into a movie, or especially into a TV show, should be really easy, you would think.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Like, I do connect to those stories better because of the interactivity, for sure.
Interesting. Alyssa, what do you think?
I think, well, like you said, it's very hard to condense a game into a movie from being 8+ hours into a 2-hour frame. But also, when you get people that haven't played the games and they watch the movie, sometimes they enjoy them more than we do, because we know the characters, we know what happens, but they don't. Like, my parents love the Resident Evil movies. They have never played the games.
No!
They don't know anything about the characters. They just think these are really good zombie movies. They had no idea that this was based off a video game until I told them, hey, these movies are based off a video game series. They're just like, oh, these are cool zombie games.
Are you sure?
Movies.
Are you sure related?
Yeah, I'm sure. Which, I mean, I have fun with them, but I obviously do compare the games to the movies, while they just see it with fresh eyes. They don't know that Alice isn't in the games, or that Nemesis appears in the second movie, but Nemesis was in the third game, and all this different stuff. Like, they just think, oh, this is a cool zombie series.
That's interesting. Do you think we would like those movies more if we had never played Resident Evil? Or are they still, I mean, they're campy, fun movies, right? Do we hold a grudge against it because they don't stack up to our ridiculous expectations for what that series has meant to us over the years?
I think in some ways we probably do.
Yeah,
just reading a book, I am guilty of this, reading the book, then watching the movie and being like, the book was better. They cut this part out and this part out. But someone that hasn't read the book goes to see the movie. They love it. They think it's great. They have no idea that some things were cut out that made the book so great. They're just thinking that was a good movie.
I think, you're right. Because as I like, the book readers hated that, or didn't like Tom Cruise's Jack Reacher, but I loved him as Jack Reacher because I had never read a book, and I was like, ooh, fun Tom Cruise action time.
Yeah. And you read the books, and he's like a 7-foot giant.
Right, yeah, or the show got it better. But to Alyssa's point, yeah, I probably do hold a grudge against the Halo show because of what they do at the end of the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was just watching a TV show, it'd be no big deal. Right. I'm like, oh, that's kind of, yeah, I guess that guy does that. Or you wouldn't think anything of it, Because I've cared about that character for 20 years in video games, I'm like, this is almost impossible to look past.
All right. Next question comes from Sean Coates. He says, what's a piece of gaming history or trivia that blew your mind the first time you heard it? For me, it's the Nintendo PlayStation story. It's fascinating to think back in hindsight that Nintendo's arrogance led them to creating their biggest rival, which, by the way, ended up outselling them more than 5-1 throughout 2 entire console generations. I'm actually going to go first on this one because I actually had one yesterday. I learned yesterday where Doom got its name from. And it just kind of blew me away. The fact that a Tom Cruise movie was the inspiration for the title of the game Doom kind of blew me away. If you're not familiar, I learned this from a book I've been reading. There's a scene in The Color of Money, which is a pool hustler movie with Tom Cruise, where he comes in with this case holding a pool stick, and someone says, what's that? And what do you got there? And he holds it, puts it on the table, and says, in a word, flips open the case, Doom. And they watched that movie and said, that's the title of our game. Just kind of was like, that blew me away. Like,
oh, man,
what a bizarre fact.
I gotta watch that movie. Sounds awesome.
Oh, you've never seen The Color of Money?
I haven't either.
Oh, it's pretty fun.
I love Tom
It's actually
Cruise.
a remake. There was an old one with Paul Newman, and they remade it. It's pretty fun. What about you guys? Any crazy facts that blew you away about the video game industry?
Well, I guess I'll go. Well, I mean, it's hard to top the Nintendo PlayStation story.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely rocked my world. I guess two that are quick to come to mind is that Fallout 1 was made in off hours against company policy.
I didn't know that.
They had pitched the game and got turned down. Like too ambitious or whatever. So I think, oh god, I can't remember their names though. But it was just like one guy at first, and then like someone caught on to it. It was basically just like built this indie studio on top of their actual development studio. And enough people started working overtime and peeling off that, like productivity is affecting the whatever game they were actually making, that eventually the producer of the studio was just like, I guess we're making Fallout now. Because the concept was too cool. That's pretty cool.
What game were they working on at the time? Do you remember?
I do not remember.
Must not have been that big of a title.
Well, it wasn't Fallout.
Right.
And then the other one is that Demon's Souls, when Miyazaki took it over because the original director left, they just basically like let anybody be the director, and he was like, I'll put my career on the line, yeah. But what the cool part was is that they sent the gameplay over to Sony, and Sony was like, it's too difficult, no one will ever like this, you have to tone down the difficulty. So Miyazaki's plan was to just lie to them that they were making it easier. But the cool part about the story that makes it fascinating to me is that his PlayStation producer, like the liaison, agreed. He's like, yes, let's lie to PlayStation, his own company, to get this hard game out there. So then when it came out in Japan, they were so mad that's why the Demon's Souls famously didn't get published in the West by Sony. Instead, Atlas brought it over. And then that started the whole thing where like Dark Souls, comes out of Namco Bandai because From Software doesn't want to work with PlayStation because you wouldn't even put out our game in the West. Why do we want to work for you again? Mm-hmm. So it's fascinating that Dark Souls should have been this hit PlayStation exclusive franchise that just didn't happen because everyone was really crappy to each other, basically.
Man, what a fascinating story. Alyssa, did you have any? I'm
trying to think of stuff, and no video game trivia will come to my mind. I'm just blank.
No, it's all good. Good question, Sean. Thanks so much for that one. Moving on to Discord, Zach.
Mark Zemansky writes in, unpopular movie and video game opinions that each of you have. I guess the fact that I referred to Mandalorian Season 2 as a dumpster fire earlier probably categorized. I'm sure I'll get some messages about that.
Boy, unpopular movie opinions. That I really enjoyed the movie Entropy, which nobody has probably even heard of. It is what most would probably consider a crappy movie from like the mid 90s that for whatever reason struck a chord when I was a teenager, and I absolutely loved it. Stephen Dorff. I only watched it because Stephen Dorff was in it because I had watched Blade and thought he was awesome in as Frost, and I wanted to see him in something else, and I bought this movie on VHS called Entropy, and it's a really weird movie, but I loved it. I actually watched it last year, and it just has everything I like in it. It's got the character that talks to the camera. It's a love story. It's a sad love story. I don't know. And it's just bizarre. It's got U2 in it. like Bono and the Edge are actually in the movie. Like he's a filmmaker that actually, like, when he lost his job, he wound up shooting music videos for U2, and then so Bono has this like heart to heart with him in his whatever. I don't know. It's a weird movie, but I love it.
Wow.
Also, the Transformer movies are fun.
For the most part, I agree with you. Yeah.
I guess one of my all-time favorite movies is Where the Heart Is. I know a lot of people don't like that movie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've watched it 15 times.
I don't even know what the hell it is.
It's a Natalie Portman movie where she's pregnant and she gives birth in a Walmart
because her jerk boyfriend abandons her at Walmart. So she has nowhere to live, so she just stays at Walmart. This was back when it wasn't open 24 hours a day. So she gives birth to her baby in Walmart, and then the little small town takes her in and cares for her.
I went and saw that movie in the theater with a couple friends of mine, and I'm sorry, I'm not knocking your taste in films, Alyssa, but like, I walked out of that theater and I was mad at my two friends for making me to go see this movie with them. I will never forget the scene where she confronts the boyfriend who, like, he got his legs cut off on a railroad track or something. He's like, "What do you want me to do, Nova Lane? My legs are cut off." And I was laughing in the theater. They were getting mad at me. It was so bad.
Because I've seen this movie 15 times and read the book twice.
Oh my goodness! Didn't she name her baby like America or something?
Nova Lee America, I believe.
Nova Lee America.
Oh boy, that's some name.
Mm.
Well, it was because Moses, I forget his last name. I've seen this movie 15 times. His name is Moses. Told her to give her a strong, good name, so she chose Nova Lee America.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that movie.
Huh.
Zach, do you have one?
It's hard. It's hard. I feel like it's hard to know what an unpopular movie opinion is in this day and age, because I don't know. Everything feels like an unpopular opinion. I really like the Matrix sequels. I think they're just as good as the Matrix.
I like them. I like them too.
I feel like it's unpopular. I like both Venom movies a lot.
They're fun.
Thank you.
I haven't seen the second one.
Man, it sounds like I got scrounged for something truly. I thought the first Avengers movie was bad.
You know what? I actually prefer Age of Ultron over the first Avengers movie.
I actually do also. I
thought I was the only one, because everyone always was like, Avengers is way better than Age of Ultron.
I don't understand the hate Age of Ultron gets. I thought it was a really good movie, actually.
I did too.
I think it still has today my favorite movie trailer where they're singing the Pinocchio song, all creepy and slow. I think it's a great trailer. But the first Avengers, I think, is a truly terrible first act, a bad second act, and then a really fun third act. But it makes the movie almost unwatchable. Like I just skip to the New York fight every time.
Yeah, I would say that's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I think I think those first 15 minutes were like it's Nick Fury running away from the SHIELD base while Loki's giving over the top ridiculous villain monologues. Like, I think that is straight up terrible filmmaking.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but
like it was, and I know he's persona non grata now, Joss Whedon, but like he has a history of making good things. Like I remember seeing that movie because I was really excited for the Avengers, right? You know, comic book kid or whatever, and it's a crossover and it's Joss Whedon. Like, oh my god, all things are looking great. But I remember like it got to the end of those first 20 minutes, I was like, this doesn't feel like it was directed by a competent director. Anyway, so that's probably an unpopular opinion.
What about unpopular video game opinions?
Assassin's Creed 3 is the best one.
That's an easy one.
Star Fox Adventures Dinosaur Planet is the best one.
That's also unpopular.
I didn't hate Mass Effect 3 or the endings. I was okay with the one I got.
Mass Effect 3's endings suck. Yeah. I would say that it's unpopular to be okay with the ending of those trilogies.
I don't know if I have unpopular opinions. I'm not. Journey sucked. I mean,
what?
Yeah,
No,
I love Journey, but I just had a kind person the entire time with me telling me where to go. So I'm like, oh, I made friends with this person I'll never meet in real life. I don't even know their name, but they helped me the entire time.
So they told you what to do, like with bleeps and clicks and stuff, right?
Yeah, and then they'd wait for me if I fell behind. They'd just be waiting for me, and I'd go, and they'd lead me toward where I needed to go next.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the only one I can really think of, because everybody loves that game, and I just wanted my money back. I've been saying that for 6 years now, that I need to go give that one another shot, because I got it on PS4, like the remake or remaster of it I got for free because I owned the original game, and maybe I should stream that I wonder if anybody's online playing that, because don't you have to play with somebody in that?
I don't think you have to.
No?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe my older self would appreciate it more, but yeah, that's probably my biggest video game.
Do you guys like Assassin's Creed 3? Am I alone in this?
I loved Assassin's Creed 3. I never understood the hate for it.
Yeah,
I didn't play all of it. I started it, and then something happened, and I didn't finish it.
I was hooked after that intro. That beginning was like, I'm ready. Let's do this. It was great.
It was a real Metal Gear Solid 2 style moment for sure.
Mm-hmm. Even like froze the camera right in that moment. I was like, what? Like it was a record scratch moment.
I think the American Revolution is the most fascinating point in history. Like, so the thing that's always grabbed me. So it's right up my alley, and I really liked Connor as a stoic lead. I never understood the hate Connor got.
I didn't think he was as whiny as everybody claimed he was.
It was very frustrating. But it was, I love that game. It was great.
Nice. All right, Alyssa, are you up?
I am, and David Newman asks, what's a feature that's rarely existent or not existent at all that you wish games would implement? This question came up for me after watching the Hogwarts Legacy trailer. Instead of having different buttons or a menu to add spells to the command, I was thinking that it would be an awesome feature to have spells be executed by voice command. It would make me feel like a true wizard. There's a 0.0000001% chance that this is in the game, but imagine how better this game would be if it was in the game and executed well.
I think it would be fun for the first half an hour.
I mean, it was fun in the Phoenix Wright games to yell objection at your DS, but I don't know about in Hogwarts.
I think it would be pretty cool to say Avada Kedavra and murder somebody.
Leviosa. I said that completely wrong. Leviosa.
No, I think that would be a fun option though. If you hold down L1, it lets you do voice commands for the spells. Because I wouldn't want to do it during combat. I would not want to say stupefy, 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 stupefy.
That's what I'm saying.
But it would be fun, to use every now and again.
What other features do you wish games would implement? I
wish that more games would implement an option in the accessibility menu for motion sickness, because lately, if I play first-person games, unless I have options to change head tilt or head bob or other things, I get extremely motion sick. That's why I couldn't continue playing Dying Light 2. I know The Last of Us had an option, which Last of Us did not bother me, but they actually had an option for people that suffer from motion sickness that you could check the box and it would somehow make it so it wouldn't make you sick. So that would be awesome if first-person games would implement that.
It's a good call. Zach, any for you?
Well, active reload always comes to mind, but I feel like it's making I feel like I've seen it in a couple games recently, a little small resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
But
it makes zero sense, but it was awesome.
You know what I would love, and this is the exact opposite, actually, of what Alyssa is saying, but I wish more games would, when you're in first person, would actually fully commit to it. So I issue with not really liking first person games as much as third person is when I'm playing first person, I rarely feel like I am the character, because usually you look down, there's no feet. You're opening doors by just clicking on them, and you just telepathically open them. And I understand why they do that, especially with first person shooters. You want speed and whatnot. But for me, I always think about the game Breakdown on the original Xbox, because it was so fully committed to it. Right, I've talked about it on the show before. When you did a backflip, the camera actually would swirl around with your head, and it was pretty dizzying. But I love that commitment to it. Or I don't want to feel like a camera with a gun in front of it. I actually want to feel like a character. And I don't think enough first-person shooters do that, and I think that's why I don't really jive with a lot of first-person shooters.
Yeah, like you do jumps and double jumps, but your camera still faces straight forward.
Right, dead center.
Yeah.
I feel like Titanfall was always very successful at making you feel like you were human in motion.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish games had that more as a feature, because I feel like it is rarely existent.
I got two. The first is I wish that more games would do the Halo thing, where when you start up, the game has you, for whatever reason, look up or down.
100%. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've even played games where it just says look up, and like you just do it right. It doesn't even ask you to confirm or whatever. It's just like, and now you roll. Now it knows which way you want to look. It's amazing.
Yeah. Like that should just be like a standard thing. Like even, I don't know, even like before the game starts, like just like, while you're in a loading screen or something, like, look up. And I don't know. That needs to be like a regular thing. And I've completely forgotten the other one now. I totally had another good one and I didn't, but that one is the one that needs to be like in every game.
All party members should get XP whether or not they're fighting.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, you're all experiencing something, so you should be getting.
I should have mentioned in my review for Moglum Lord that when you're playing, the rest of your party gets 50% of what you and your main character that you're in battle with get. So they don't get all of the XP, but they do get 50%, so it was easier to level everybody up that way, which I loved.
Yeah, that's great.
So I agree. I wish party members would get XP that aren't in play. They would still get that XP, so you don't have to grind and level each one up individually.
BioWare was always very good at that.
I wish I liked BioWare games better. I really do. I had another really solid one, and I completely lost it. It was really good, too.
I was trying to buy you time. That's why I said that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Nothing.
I'll probably remember it by the end of this, but we got a couple more comments. The next one comes from Drew Ross, who says, what is your favorite thing to eat when eating out? Also, what is your favorite thing to cook? Alyssa?
Okay, so I'm autistic. So when I go out to eat, I have one specific meal I get at every single restaurant, so it's always different. I'm not the chicken fingers and fries person. Like, I'll get something different at every place, but I don't have a favorite thing to get per se. I just trust that one dish, and my favorite food's pizza, but I don't get it at restaurants for some reason, because most of the time they don't have pizza, but...
So just understand, so the first time you go to a restaurant, you basically roll the dice on a menu item, and then if it's good, you just stick with that forever every time you go to a restaurant? Okay.
Yeah.
I know, I've met people like that.
That's kind of my MO, too.
Oh,
and also...
I explore the menu.
I despise cooking, and also, again, with the autism, I have sensory issues with touching some certain foods, especially raw meat. I'm also a germaphobe. Freaks me out. I have to scrub my hands until, I have my hands red from the scalding water. It's just not a fun time. By the time I'm finished cooking, I'm cranky. I don't want to eat while I cook, so I just don't cook. I just don't cook. I don't like it, so...
Fair enough. What's you, Zach?
When I go out, I love getting
barbecue.
Barbecue chicken, buffalo chicken, mac and cheese. It's kind of my comfort food. If that's on a menu, I'm getting that.
Wait, mixed together, or?
Yeah. Like a mac and cheese with buffalo chicken in it, kind of thing.
I've never seen that anywhere.
Oh man! Oh, they're even you can even get it where the cheddar and the buffalo is mixed together, and then you have buffalo chicken in there. Oh, that's good stuff.
All right,
that's got to be my most comforting food. As for cooking, the only thing I feel like I make super well is fajitas.
Mm-hmm.
I can cook a steak well, but I feel like everybody can cook steak well.
Not everybody.
Yeah,
they choose not to.
Yeah, that's
me.
I wasn't. I wasn't trying to sound like an elitist. It's just to cook steak well is fairly easy. It's just regimented, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing to eat when eating out. I love going out and getting a really good steak. I even going out and getting a decent steak. I know
still owe you a steak.
You do still owe me a steak.
Cloud, I owe you a pre-pandemic steak because Cloud put on a dress.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Next time you come in town, man. I know it's like a chain and everyone will laugh at me, but I still like Texas Roadhouse. I think their gravy is outstanding.
If I get a, I would have backed you up because I think I think of Texas Roadhouse as like an Olive Garden type establishment of like, why would anybody go there? But every time I've gone there because other people want to go, I am very satisfied.
Yeah. I get their they do a steak where they cover it in jack cheese and gravy, and then I always get a side of gravy as well, so that I'm actually dipping every piece in the gravy. So it's so freaking good. But I also like going out for like really fancy steaks. I went out to a place that was a winery that had a really that also had a restaurant. It was a really like pinky out kind of restaurant, and I love me a good steak and some like mashed potatoes or a baked potato and green beans. That's like my favorite thing in the world to go out and get. As far as favorite thing to cook, I love to barbecue. I really do. I've gotten pretty adept at cooking chicken, pork chops, and steak, and I actually have a meat thermometer that I use to make sure I've got it at the exact temperature that I want to, and I've got it down to taking the thicker cuts of meat and leaving them on there, and the thinner ones putting them on the top rack after they're done. So that they're all still. I love to marinate. I love to marinate chicken and pork chops. Started a debate in our Discord channel one day when I said I marinated steaks. I got yelled at by quite a few people that said I should only be putting salt and pepper on them. So I don't talk about that anymore, but I still marinate my steaks. So yeah, anything on the grill. My wife has been very happy about my grilling skills as of late. Tonight I made trout, not on the grill, but I have never cooked trout before. Got a fresh cut of trout. It still has like the skin on it and everything like that, so I had to cook it. And fish is very difficult to cook for me. I'm always worried I'm going to overcook it because like it does not take very long to cook fish. But
man, if you and your wife don't work out, I'll be your wife.
Yeah,
It sounds nice getting these home cooked meals.
I do like cooking for people. We did those like Blue Box, or what was it? Blue Box Cafe, or no. Blue Box Cafe is an actual place. The
Blue Apron?
It's like HelloFresh.
Blue Apron?
Blue Apron, thank you. We did Blue Apron for a month or two, and that was great because you just get like the exact amount of everything you need, and the instructions are just right there. That's awesome. I also like cooking in the I have an Instant Pot. Man, I make a tater tot soup, it's like basically like a baked potato soup. Put some bacon bits in there. It is really good. It's like so easy. I love stuff that is super easy to make, that I can just stuff. I make pork fried rice in an Instant Pot.
Oh.
With like fresh pork, so it's really good.
I got an air fryer recently. That changed my life.
Isn't that so much better than like in the oven?
Just so fast. I just cooked a chicken breast in there from raw. For the first time. It was my first time experimenting with raw food in the air fryer.
Yeah.
Total game changer. Totally delicious.
I've never done that. I've never had the...
Oh, it was like crispy on the outside and juicy on the inside, just like what you want, and it's beautiful. It was a beautiful thing.
I didn't know you could do raw meat in there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dude, you gotta check it out, man. It's something else.
All right. Next question. That was mine. Zach, you got the last one.
I think we have one more from Twitter after that. But yes, CJ Moore writes in, Zack and Scott, and Alyssa too. We'll throw you in here.
Okay.
If you were to attempt to steal one item from CB's collection, what would it be, and how would you do it? You can choose to work together. CB, how likely are they to get away with it? Since CB's not here, I'll let you know. He'll be like, "Oh, it's impossible. They would never get away with it. I promise you that." That's probably what he would say.
Your impression is spot on, by the way.
Thank you. You may spend any amount of money up to the value of the desired item to accomplish your nefarious task. No hitman. CB must live. You're welcome.
I mean,
I don't know what's in his collection per se. I know you two.
Just everything.
I know.
If you want
better.
it, it's there. Like seriously, name it. Name a game that you really want that you don't have. It's there.
Except for Panzer Dragoon Saga, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. What would you steal, Scott? You know his collection better than we do.
Little Samson on NES.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be your answer. You want the value?
I mean, It's hitting closer to the $3,000 mark at this point, so I don't think I'm gonna be getting one. But
the market is out of control.
It's really out of control, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I thought it was out of control 3 years ago when I sold off 5 of my most expensive games from my collection, just because I was like, I might as well get rid of them while it's high, and look at it now. Kicking myself for that.
Don't kick yourself too hard. It's got to burst soon. It's going to be like the comics bubble.
It would be really nice if it burst right before Midwest Gaming Classic at the end of this month.
So you just scoop it up.
I could just pick things up there, because that'd be great. And speaking of, anybody in the Milwaukee area going to Midwest Gaming Classic, CB and I will be there. I've been saving up some money to go, so I don't know if I'm going to spend it all. But last time we were there, we saw one of those Nintendo World Championship cartridges there. It may have been up for 6 figures at that point. I can't imagine what it's worth now. But definitely Little Samson, just because I want it for my own collection. And I don't even need an elaborate scheme. I just, I peruse his game collection often and pull things down. I could just do some sleight of hand, even though he's got cameras and stuff on there. I could just very easily, swap out, and he would never know the wiser. Oh, Scott's just looking at games again. So I don't have anything elaborate.
I feel like that's the most effective thing, is to use his trust and friendship to our advantage.
That's what I'm saying. I would never do that to CB because he isn't one of my closest friends. But it would be, if I were going to do it, it'd be very easy to do.
I mean, does he have a Pac-Man arcade machine?
He does, but it's a little one. It's one of those like 1-up arcade machines.
I would probably steal that just because my mom has been wanting one for forever, just a Pac-Man arcade machine.
Well, let me know if this changes your mind, because he actually bought that for his 5-year-old son. So it's actually Jameson. So are you still stealing it?
No, I'm not stealing from a child.
Well, okay, I'll steal it for her now. I don't care about this kid. I don't know this kid.
Zach's just like,
No, I want to know how you're going to steal it, though, because that's not just a little cartridge. That's.
Well, the rule said we could use the amount of money the thing is worth to steal it.
All right. You're just going to pick it up? You're not going to get a dolly, or?
No, we can get a dolly.
CB's going to be watching his cameras now really closely whenever I go over for D&D night. No, I will not. I would not steal anything from CB, but that is the thing I want out of his collection, just because that is the biggest hurdle I have to get through this collection. Need 67 more cartridges to make it, and I don't think it's going to happen. I don't have stadium events. I don't have Little Samson. I even have the Nintendo World Championship cart on there, although I don't think that counts. That's not like a licensed game, right?
I don't know. I don't know enough about.
I don't know.
Plus, there's like 26 of them in existence, so like it's not like. Anyway.
I don't think collectors would count something that only has 26 copies.
Yeah. Anyway, Zach, what would you do? What would you steal, and how would you do it?
Does he have Shadow Hearts Covenant? Maybe.
I don't remember. Didn't we talk about that one? I think he said that was one he does not have.
Does he have Legend of Legaia?
I can't imagine.
I don't know what he has. But let's say it'll be a PS1 JRPG, probably most likely. Because the game I want,
surprisingly small PS1 collection, by relatively speaking.
So it's easier to get away with because he cares about it less.
Sure, let's go with that.
Also, guys, if you take me with you, I have a purse, and the purse can hold more stuff in it.
There you go.
Well, I mean, I was just going to say, like, I got boy pockets. I could slip a jewel case in there.
I could slip an NES card very easily. Just wear some cargo shorts if I have any of those left.
Right, wear a jacket, just slip right in the
But I mean, if you wanted more stuff, I would gladly let you use my purse as an extra container.
I appreciate you being in my
more
accomplice.
Stuff.
No, but yeah, I mean, the best way to steal would just be to, like you said, Scott, just abuse his trust and friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe bring him a 6-pack while he's putting it in the fridge. Just slip it into your jacket pocket, and
just learn some sleight of hand.
Just have a great night, because then when he's looking at the cameras, he's going to assume you stole it towards the end of the night. If he suspects you, he's not going to assume you stole it first thing and then hung out with him the whole night, betraying his trust to his face.
Exactly,
for hours
that's
on
how
end.
you do it.
That's how you do it. That's how you become a monster.
He's totally gonna check his cameras now, like every D&D night.
I wonder if he'll listen. Oh, I guess he'll probably listen to this just for this section. Yeah,
probably, because we did call him out on Discord.
He's gonna love my 1-to-1 impression of him.
It's gonna be good. All right, last question goes to Alyssa, right?
Yes, and this is from Twitter, from @thecarlosfontes. They ask, what's your favorite 007 game apart from GoldenEye? I'm just going to answer real quick. I've never played a 007 game, so I am disqualified from this question.
All right.
Damn it, Alyssa.
That was an easy answer for me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the
Agent
answer?
Under Fire. Agent Under Fire on GameCube.
Ah, okay. So, same era for me, Everything or Nothing.
Everything or Nothing?
Because that was like a fifth Brosnan movie.
Yeah. Could see that.
Yeah.
I really wanted to like the GoldenEye remake where they had Daniel Craig.
Oh, yeah.
But it just did not feel the same for some reason.
It just felt like a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
It did not feel the same. I also like Bloodstone a lot, which is the Daniel Craig version of Everything or Nothing, like the original plot kind of game. I just think those are cool. That's why I'm really looking forward to IO Interactive's their own take on Bond.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
But as someone whose favorite Bond is Brosnan, it was exciting. Everything or Nothing is a bonus Brosnan story. It's super cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, Agent Under Fire was awesome. It had like Bond moments. I don't even know what they called them. Did they call them like 007 moments? Like where if you hit a ramp while you're driving a car a certain way and hit something, it would just do this, dun-dun, dun-dun, and it would give you like a little like...
Yeah, I think I remember that.
It's before achievements were a thing. I thought that was just really cool.
Was that the one where Willem Dafoe was the bad guy?
Oh man, it's been so long. If he was, I need to go back and replay that because that'd be great. I don't remember Willem Dafoe being the bad guy.
It was either that. I can't. My memory is betraying me because I can't remember if he was the bad guy in Everything or Nothing or Agent Under Fire. But he was a bad guy in one of them.
It doesn't ring a bell for me, but that does not mean that could just be I just have poor memory.
I remember
would they have had? Huh?
I was going to say the Bond girl in Everything or Nothing. I know was Shannon Elizabeth.
Oh,
yeah.
She takes her vitamins.
So Eugene Levy quote there?
I was no, that was actually the other kid, Finch, said that.
Oh yeah, you're right. I love American Pie so much. That was my childhood movie right there.
I know. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, everybody, for writing in. I always love doing community questions, and I always wonder each month when I do it, I'm like, are we gonna have enough this week? And you guys always come through, so that's really awesome. Thank you so much. Stay tuned to the social media outlets for next week's topic. We're still determining what that's going to be, but that is going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Zach, any parting words or recommendations before we get out of here?
Not really, man. I'm on the cusp of starting. I haven't really done anything but play games. Basically, you can see how many games I played the past week.
Yeah, I see that.
It's really all I've been doing. I got back into the Demon Slayer manga. Continues to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, you know what I did? I started a new manga, Spy Family.
Oh my gosh, I love that series.
It's great. It's a lot of fun. It's like the guy is a spy, the lady is an assassin, and their child is a telepath. Alyssa looks very excited. But
I was just going to ask you, did you know there's an anime coming out this week?
Yeah, I think I saw a trailer for it on YouTube. But it's fun because none of them know that about each other. So it's like they're all playing like a spy game with each other. It's super cool.
But the little girl, since she's a telepath, she can hear Lloyd and her parents, what their thoughts are. So she knows that they're a spy and an assassin, but they don't know that she knows.
Right, and she can't tell them because then they'll know that she's a telepath. So it's like a fun little espionage family. It's
they don't
very
know
charming.
That we know that they know.
You know?
No.
Oh.
I love you, Zach. You get my friends' quotes.
I love Friends.
Alyssa, what about you?
Okay, so there's this anime series that just came out on Netflix.
It's called Spy Family.
Maybe that might be my next recommendation. But 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it's probably more like 2. It's called Kotaro Lives Alone, and when you just see the visual, it looks like a cute show. It's labeled as a comedy. It is not a comedy, guys.
No.
There are some comedic moments, but the synopsis is it's about this 4-year-old boy named Kotaro that moves into an apartment by himself and befriends his neighbors. But you learn what happens to Kotaro, or what happened to him, why he's alone, why a 4-year-old boy is leasing an apartment on his own. And every episode is heartbreaking. But it's such a great show. And it gives you hope and makes you cry every single episode. And it's fully dubbed, 10 episodes, around 26 minutes each, so it's easy to watch. But just be in a good headspace before you watch it, because it is labeled, for some reason, Netflix has it as a comedy. It's not a comedy. What happens is tragic, and it happens in real life. But it's just a really impactful anime series, and it doesn't look like a typical anime in the animation style, so you have to kind of get used to that. It's more Western looking than it is Japanese. But it's wonderful. Definitely check it out.
What's that called again?
Kotaro Lives Alone.
All right. As for me, I finished up I'm officially done with the Harry Potter series in book form. I feel really cool that I've got that under my belt finally. And I started, no joke, 3-4 days ago, a recommendation from Zack and CB. And I've got 1 hour left in the audiobook of Masters of Doom. Holy cow. If you have not read this book, it is just fascinating. I've learned, that's where I got that Doom piece of trivia earlier, about learning that it was from a Paul Newman, from a Tom Cruise movie. But there's just something about the rise and fall of that is just so enormously interesting, and has really made me look at myself in ways that I was not expecting reading a book about video game developers. It's really good, and I've still got the hour to go, but can't recommend it enough. I want to rack Zach's brain now to get more books like this, more stuff about the video game industry, and I need more recommendations in this realm from you. But I know you're probably just going to tell me Star Wars Expanded Universe instead. No,
I mean, I'll see what I can remember. I feel like there was one about Blizzard's early days that I liked. I have to remember the name of it though.
Yeah, I'm just blown away, because people were raving about how good it is, but it's so good. I mean, it helps that Will Wheaton is narrating it too. I really like his narration. He did both of the Ernest Cline books. I just like the way he delivers. It's really good. So, Masters of Doom, just fascinating, interesting stuff. And I wasn't even like a big PC guy. Like the just things that I didn't really know, because I wasn't into PC gaming back then. I didn't know that Apple was the superior place to play games on at first, and everyone thought that Windows sucked.
Right? You know what Prince of Persia was an Apple II game.
Yeah, and then and all of a sudden it's just completely flipped. Like hardly anybody plays on Steam. I mean, on Mac anymore.
I would if anybody would let me.
Right? Yeah, that's the hard part. I don't know. There's just so many things I learned about that, and just how arrogance can just rip friendships and businesses apart. And like at one point I was kind of siding with one of the Johns, and then I was siding with one of the other Johns, and as far as I am, I'm just kind of like, man, they're both just jerks. Like, they both were just not nice dudes to each other. So
did they go into American McGee at all in that book? I forget.
They do, and that was the thing I didn't know. I didn't know American McGee worked for id. I had no clue.
Oh, okay.
No clue. I assumed like Alice came after all that.
Yeah,
had to
for
have.
sure. Yeah.
I was just really interested in the names that they were throwing out that they were recognizing, and I played Commander Keen when I was a kid. And just hearing how that came through, and how some people's dreams of that series were just crushed because they wanted to move forward with the technology. And I don't know. There's a really cool moment where a certain one of the characters, kind of has a makeup moment with someone from his past that he had. It's just really good. Masters of Doom. Read it. It's awesome. All right. Well, Alyssa and Zach, thank you so much for being here, and thank you, everybody, so much for listening. Would like to remind you that The Gaming Outsider is produced by Nate Lucas, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. His website once again, is stemmagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Alyssa White, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.